Hey everybody, Adam Tracy again. And if you turn on the TV, I guarantee you watch long enough, you will see some like AI generated commercial for slot machine apps that pay real money as prizes. So the question is, how can you do that? Because there's very few states that allow casino style mobile gaming, right? There's a few states that regulate it, like Nevada. You can do poker online, stuff like that. But generally speaking, here in California, like you can't. It's illegal. So how do they get around it? And it's a very valuable lesson for the vast majority of people who want to gamify different things, want to create, token based or crypto based gaming platforms and the like. But it's very instructive, right? And so we start at the top, which is the Unlawful Internet Gaming Act, which was in the early 2000s. And that was meant to really X out the offshore web casinos that had popped up, right? Mostly from Costa Rica. And it didn't ban those casinos, but what it did was it banned the processing of financial transactions to and from those casinos. So, like, effectively tried to shut off, like Operation Choke Point, try to shut off the flow of funds to those casinos. But it didn't define games of chance, games of skill. And I've talked about this a lot of times before. Games of chance, gambling. Games of skill, right? Like daily fantasy, not gambling, arguably, but it's not really defined anywhere. So how do these slot machine apps do it? And I had the misfortune of actually having to download one, but I figured it out. So a few ways. Number one, they do define gaming, and gaming or gambling, and in the act, gambling, always the predicate is the wagering of consideration, of value, right? Now, all of these apps are like these token-based type things, not like crypto tokens, like sort of the imaginary, stored value tokens that have no value outside of the platform, and you get them for free, right? So you are not actually wagering value. Now you can buy more, right, tokens, but it always allows you to get to the same outcome, right? Meaning, like, I can download the app, I get the free tokens, and the outcome is to like hit the jackpot or whatever. And voila, I can do that with the free tokens. Or if I buy some, then I can play more, or while they can't say it, I have a better chance of winning, what have you, right? So that's like the first sort of hurdle that they eliminate. They just say, like, basically, we're not wagering anything. You're playing for free. And the outcome is the same whether you buy the extra tokens or not, right? Second is the gameplay itself, right? While there's a strong case that says, hey, I'm just playing the casino and, I'm just playing the slot and like the lady with the cigarette hanging out with two of them next to each other and just doing it. And I'm going to hit the jackpot. Seemingly, if you're not wagering anything of value, then game of skill, no license required, you're not operating legally, what have you. But many of these are structured as like progressives, right? So in the sense that you're competing against other people, right? So the outcome isn't based upon just your ability to hit, 3 acorns in a row, whatever the hell it is. It's meant to be a competition against the others playing, right? So much like daily fantasy where, I'm competing against hundreds of other people for this illusory prize, it's the same concept. Now, when you're talking about slots, you could argue, well, the outcome of every pull is random, right? Whereas like daily fantasy, the outcome is predicated upon like the skill or the abilities of other people, and you're guessing and like that. But again, it's not defined anywhere. So there's really nothing that anybody can do about it. So that having been said, when you look at it and you say, okay, fine, like I want to create one of these gaming platforms like Chumba Casino or Lucky Land Slots, what have you. The first thing you've got to look at is, do I have to pay value to get on board? And for a lot of like crypto token based platforms, that's the problem, because you have to buy that token at some point. Now the question becomes, if I buy it like off the platform, is it the same way? But one way to alleviate that is to allow for some de minimis amount of free tokens when people sign up, or and then are then periodically reloaded, because in theory those people have an equal chance of winning as the guy who buys more tokens, right? Albeit a lesser chance, because the guy who buys more tokens plays more, and statistically speaking, he's going to like have a better chance, but there's no value being wagered. So that's a big thing. The other thing too is just peer-to-peer. Like if you structure and you're going into this gamification mode, right? And I'll get into some of the specifics on sort of the trading competitions in my next video, but anything, right? Whether it's blackjack, any game, right? Casino or otherwise, can be reimagined and gamified to be a competition, right? And so if you can define that in the sense that your ability to win and the size of the jackpot is relative to the number of people who are in, right, playing in this like pool or this particular game, even if it's like Lotto or Keno, it's a game of skill. And again, it's not defined anywhere, right? Like at the federal level, some states have it, some states actually ban it, very few, but it's really not defined anywhere. But, you know, written into the Unlawful Internet Gaming Act was the exception for peer-to-peer, and that's enough for, as you can see, a great deal of these platforms to go live and seemingly have millions and millions of downloads on the chance that you would win like $6. So that's how this game of skill kind of operates, right? And it touches sweepstakes law, which I've gotten into before and I'll get into subsequent to this, but that's the basic framework. So if you follow that framework, right, that's how you can get your crypto or blockchain-based sort of casino, whatever you want to call it. Maybe don't call it a casino, but that's how you can kind of follow the blueprint to get it done. So if you have any questions, right, about how to structure these things and how to get payment processing, the whole 9 yards, definitely hit me up. You know where to find me, adamtracy.io. Talk to you next time. Cheers.